Hello and welcome to this instructional video for Progress Book. In this video we are going to go over how to get into your student detail page and what is on the student detail page. From Progress Book there are multiple ways to get into your student detail page. Basically anytime you see a student's name, it's going to be highlighted in blue. It's a quick link. If you click on that student's name, it will take you directly to the student detail page. So if I'm entering an assessment and I need to quickly go to a student detail page, I can save my assessment and then click on the student's name and it'll take me directly to the student detail page. If you are logging into Progress Book and you have a specific student in mind, you can click in the student search here and enter that student's name. But for our purposes today, I'm going to go through the actual View Progress Book, which is number 1 on the teacher menu here. So I'll click on that. So it gives you a couple drop downs. The teacher name, which is probably going to be set solid for you, for most teachers. There's the classroom and homeroom. So if you have more than one class, you can choose from a different class. So if you have 2 math classes or 2 ELA classes, you can choose that. Then you can choose your subject. And for this video, let's do language arts. And you can also choose your reporting category. This gives you an option of all of the reporting categories. But for today, so we're just going to click on Run Report because I only need to actually get to the student detail page. So I'll click Run Report, and you'll see if I click Run Report, it actually gives me all of the standards across the top. So if all of the language arts standards are right here across the top and what that student's score is in those particular standards. So let's click on to the student's name, and it'll take me directly into their student detail page. So this is the student detail page. You can tell because it says right up top, student detail page. If I scroll down, it's going to give me, first I will come to my ELA summary. So my student summary for ELA, you'll see on the left here, there's this fancy donut. If you hover over top of the donut, it'll tell you how many standards the student is proficient in or progressing in, depending on which section of the donut you're on, out of how many standards have been evaluated. So you'll see that 40 standards have been evaluated. In the middle it tells you this, and 11 of those standards are proficient. It takes into account that student has 10 standards that they're proficient on and 1 standard that they're beyond on. So this particular student has 11 standards that they are proficient in. If you scroll down a little further here, it actually gives you a little bit more detail. It tells you the same thing as the donut, but it also tells you down here that there are 35 out of 75 standards that have not yet been evaluated. So it also kind of gives you a gauge as to how far into the school year you are, how many standards this student has actually been assessed on. If I scroll back up here on the right, this gives you your student progress ELA summary. So here's your overarching category, and inside of each of these categories, there are reporting categories. So these reporting categories will be the categories that are actually on the student report card. So you can actually get a gauge on how this student is doing or what their report card will look like just by looking at this particular field here, these fields. So on craft and structure, this student is progressing right now. So this is, and it also tells you how many items have been assessed. So for craft and structure, under here, they're progressing. Under item number, there's 52, and of course it tells you the reporting category. So it gives you all the reporting categories, the progress that they're making, and how many items have been assessed. If I scroll down and I would like to see a standard detail, I can click on this collapsible menu, and it actually shows the detail at the standard level. And it tells you what standards are included in each grading category. So if I use the same example, if I scroll up, craft and structure, I'll come down here, craft and structure, these are all of the standards under craft and structure. And it tells you what the standard is, and it also tells you the student's proficiency on that standard and how many times that student has been assessed on that standard. So you can see that L4, the student's been assessed 3 times on L4, and then it tells you what the actual standard is here. And it does that for every reporting category. If you scroll down, beyond ELA, or you can always collapse this menu. You have your math summary. So you have your math grading categories, your overarching category here, and then you have your donut that gives you the same proficiency, tells you, the exact same information as the ELA, and then down below tells you how many standards have not been evaluated. And you can also click on your detail page or your detail dropdown, and it gives you the reporting category as well as the standards that are assessed. So it gives you the standard tag. It actually writes the standard out for you, tells you the progress that the student is making, and it gives you how many items have been assessed for this particular student on that standard. So it lets you know. For a standard to trip the power law, which is the grading system we're using, the grading algorithm, it needs to have at least 3 assessments for that standard. If the standard doesn't have 3 assessments, the system is going to take the most recent assessment. So that is pretty much it for the student detail page. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.